Badminton Kid 1. Badminton, Running and Table Tennis. Chapter 1. Wine County Open. Excerpts. Rage, anguish, and the sense of loss and insult enveloped him. With each rejection, everything collapsed around him and he stood impoverished amid ruins. Yet, the call to rise above resonated. A relentless pursuit demanded his attention, above all, to conquer the turmoil within. So he stood, determining to mend the fractures in his soul. He eased into a state of profound relaxation, allowing each muscle fiber to find serenity, while he delved into the intricate nuances of his strokes. Gradually, his gaze lifted, drawn upwards to the spectacle above, a cathedral-like ceiling adorned with majestic arched transom windows. With the sun's ascent, he observed the dance of motes of light, pirouetting like ethereal dancers in a grand performance, only to yield their place to fresh, newborn luminance. This ephemeral display eventually dissipated into an expanse of emptiness, and as the ambient noise receded, a newfound stillness pervaded the hall. The once intrusive scent of bean curd and the cacophonous honking from the streets began to dissipate, their presence fading into insignificance. Gradually, he felt the world's tethers loosen, as his consciousness drifted from its moorings. The demarcations of victory and defeat, trepidation and engagement, now seemed inconsequential, mere ripples in the grand ocean of existence. All that remained was the expanse above, ceiling, shuttlecock, and racket, a trinity that held his focus unwavering. In a gradual convergence of effort and intent, John achieved his coveted state of meditation. With measured grace, he crouched low, fingers wrapping around one shuttlecock, and then with an elegant thrust of his left hand, he propelled it upward. The shuttlecock ascended, a beacon of trajectory, akin to a water droplet ascending in the graceful ballet of a laser-lit fountain display. In fluid choreography, the remaining 5 shuttlecocks followed suit, each ascending in a synchronized sequence. When the first shuttlecock neared the zenith of its ascent, almost brushing the ceiling's expanse, he rose from his crouched stance, a symphony of motion and precision embodied. As he poised his racket aloft, the initial shuttlecock plummeted earthward, slicing through the air with a breathtaking celerity, as if it were plunging through the surface of the world, through the superficial world, into the secret art of this game. In one fluid motion, John's torso swiveled, seamlessly harmonizing the momentum of his body, arms, and hands. Raising the racket above his head, he orchestrated a graceful rotation of his wrist, ushering forth a nuanced orchestration of the racket's movement. Defying gravity, he leapt into the expanse, his racket swishing through the air with a resonant force. Every element intertwined harmoniously, evoking an aura of effortlessness and youthful vigor. Rather than disjointed entities, his body coalesced into a unified entity, each motion economical yet imbued with a serene agility. This choreography resembled the fluidity of an Eastern martial art, adhering to a disciplined code refined through countless repetitions, ultimately culminating in a state of tranquil mastery. The racket's impact with the shuttlecock resonated with exquisite accuracy. His intent was as meticulously etched as the envisioned trajectory. In an almost mystical convergence, his spirit, the racket, the shuttlecock, the net, and the court fused into an enigmatic union, singularly focused on the target's coordinates. The shuttlecock, propelled by an astounding speed, not only surged forward but also struck the outer white boundary of the court, elegantly kissing the backhand side of his hypothetical adversary. The stadium reverberated with the deafening roar of the audience once more, the cacophony reverberating through its very foundations. John's smoldering frustration finally reached its boiling point. In an explosive display of anger, he succumbed to a fit of temper, his racket becoming a projectile of his pent-up emotions. With seething resentment, he hurled the racket across the expanse, its trajectory landing it on his bag that lay adjacent to the audience benches, easily a 20-foot distance away. Gathering his bag and racket, he departed the arena without a single utterance or gesture of farewell, a silent storm clouding his exit. Once outside the confines of the stadium, his footsteps pounded the pavement with the cadence of his hatred and rage. Like a mantra of condemnation, he muttered to himself, "Cheater, liar, criminal." The agony and torment from within and from the abyss of the darkness in his heart turned into a violent force that threatened to erupt at any time. He knew of no way to liberate himself from this torment except by making a pilgrimage to the nearby Guan Yin Mountain, the Mountain of Saint, his only sanctuary, where monks and nuns gave lectures in temples on the profound matters of life and death, suffering and enlightenment, offering solace to those who sought it. Venturing across several streets and covering several more miles, John's fervent journey led him to a river nestled at the base of Guan Yin Mountain. Ordinarily, a ferryman would be at the ready to convey pilgrims across the river, but today the ferryman's post was vacant. A sense of unease gripped John as restlessness took root within him. Crossing the expanse, he traversed the square and stepped into the sanctum of the temple. Adorning the walls were an array of Buddha statues, each telling its own tale. Converged within were around 40 individuals, seated gracefully upon the floor with legs neatly crossed, their demeanor a portrait of rapt attentiveness. Their purpose was clear, to seek wisdom and enlightenment from the venerable monks and nuns of the temple. At the forefront of the assembly stood a nun of Buddha, a somber woman swathed in shades of gray with intelligent, tired eyes, and pale face, and she spoke with a clear, mild, and sweet voice to the audience. She told the listeners how gods originated long ago in the olden days, out of the needs and wishes of the people at that time, who had not recognized the unity of nature. They had always seen just the single and momentary thing, prioritizing urgent things rather than important things, those primitive people, and so they needed and created for each thing a special god, a god for the sea and the land, for sun and moon, for rain and fire. But in Buddhism there is only one primordial force, the essence of mind, she explained. All else is virtuality. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Winning is losing. Losing is winning. Life is death. Death is life. The nun who served wisdom explained to the audience the Buddhism theories, from the pure, immaculate Dharmakaya to the Satipatthana Sutta, the basic manual on meditation. She introduced the Four Noble Truths, 5 precepts, 6 paramitas, and 8-fold path, and explained how one could reach the Pure Land, the Nirvana through practicing Buddhism. John recognized that she was none anonymous, his most cherished lecturer. As the lecture concluded, an impulse pushed John to step into the foreground. The extent of your benevolence is immeasurable, guiding us through the tumultuous sea of suffering, he articulated with profound reverence. In response, she gracefully inclined, her voice a picture of decorum. Amenemfa. I merely facilitated, never ferrying. My role, if any, was that of a creator of rafts. Your traversal of the arduous sea was a testament to your own navigation. Each time you elaborated a Buddhism theory, I registered a little triumph in my mind. I felt your kindness and your love. I commend you for your fine job, none anonymous. But I grappled with your assertion that life is death, death is life. To me, they stand disparate, a juxtaposition of victory and loss. A triumph fills me with elation, while defeat plunges me into despondency, he said, thirsting for an answer.